championship game, fourth quarter, 2 minutes on the clock. We just scored. We got 6. The other team got 7. Coach looks at me. He says, I need something. So it's the kickoff, and we all hitting our pads. We yelling and we screaming. I go down, and the first guy's a big guy, go around him. The second guy, he's a linebacker. He reminds me of my middle sister. If you get away from him, he's just going to chase you down. So I hit him, and I spun away. And then when I get to my adversity, to these 2 guys with the ball, man, I didn't know what to do. So I went back to my ankle biter self, and I...
All right. Welcome, Coach Jackson, to the Young Athletic. How you doing today?
I'm doing very well, thank you. What do I call you, Patrick? What, like, you got a nickname?
Patrick, anything.
Okay.
You know, my old friends call me Patty.
Okay. But, Patty, no mayonnaise.
Yeah, Patty, no mayonnaise. What's that? Is that the Rugrats? Patty mayonnaise?
I don't even remember where Patty mayonnaise is from.
I think it is.
That might be Doug. That's Doug.
Oh, Doug. Yeah. Old school. So welcome. How you doing today?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to speak, definitely on your platform. Yeah. Thank you.
I didn't get it on video, but you started off with some poetry. You want to talk a little bit about where that comes from for you? What inspires it for you?
Oh, absolutely. A lot of my stories line up between the sports and the poetry world. So when I think it was first grade, teacher's name is Wright. I used to get done with my work really fast, get done with tests really fast, and I used to talk a lot, definitely to help people out. But she called my mom. She said, I don't know what to do with him. I mean, he's a good student. He's getting done with his work, but he's affecting everybody else. So mom said, yo, you got 2 options. So she gave me the pen, and she said, you can either draw or you can write. I've been writing ever since. And then I got to get to know my inner self, because as I'm writing, I'm correcting and talking to myself like, ooh, that don't sound good. Let me say it like this.
Yeah.
So it was a heck of a journey. So since first grade, I've been writing, and that's where that came from. But poetry is that's my safe place.
Yeah, they say the writing is in the editing.
Yeah, oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah.
And same as film work. When you're recording, the love comes because you got to edit. You got to edit everything.
Oh,
so, yeah.
No, so you write songs as well? You said you had a couple of albums?
Yes. I got 2 recorded albums, self-published. I have 2 books as well, self-published, and 1 audio book to match one of those 2 books. So yes, I record songs. So I can't wait to do a song with you.
Yeah.
And I record poetry. I'm definitely gonna give you some poetry tonight. I definitely got to do it. I definitely got to do it. Yeah.
You know, poetry is it's fun and creative. You know, it's freeing, really.
There, you said it. It's free. It's free. I always wondered what free was, and free was, I call it poop, and it'll come up later, pieces of optimal peace, P-O-O-P. Yeah.
One way to say it, yeah.
Absolutely.
Poop.
Yeah. I got to find my poop. Because that's where, happiness is a pursuit. So if I find my pieces of optimal peace, cornhole, poetry, going to go coach. Like, I'm working at a desk all day, so when I go to coach and I get in front of the children, they don't know about the 9-10 hours of stress that I had. They just see the joy in my face. That's my poop. My pieces of optimal peace. So, yeah.
You want to talk a little bit about your coaching right now? I know you're working at Redline.
Yeah, the Redline kind of saved my life, saved my relationship, saved me. I'm 3 years in California, 4 years, and I couldn't find a home. I couldn't find anywhere to go be comfortable at. And I ran into Kirk Johnson at work, man. He plugged me in.
Kirk's the man.
Yeah. Good guy, man. Him and Malcolm both love him. When he plugged me in with Coach E, immediately it felt like family. I wouldn't coach at first. I said, let me just go check it out. Just let me go feel the energy in the gym. So I mean, 2-3 weeks in a row, I just went to go check it out, check the coaches out, check the kids out. But when I say they saved me, it gave me all that pent up energy that I had because I stopped performing. I'm not coaching, which I've been doing all my life. And all I'm doing is work. And when it's that high octane thinking work, I just want to yell and scream sometimes. So again, when I say they saved my life, they gave me the ability to coach basketball and not join a basketball team. You know, I didn't have to go to a high school or a elementary school and say, hey, I want to coach it. Nope, I got plugged in. Kids change out every hour. So I get a new personality every hour. And that's what I love. You know, variety is the spice of life. So I get a variety of children and they all touch me in a different way. So, yeah.
When I get off work early at like 2 or 3, and I love going out to practice. You know, you got to get outside and get some sunshine and get some activity. So I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. What do you get most out of it when you go to coach? Like what aspect is your favorite? Is what I want to ask.
That's a great question. I love when the kids run up to me and call me coach. It's just an honor, you know. And they got so much enthusiasm and
For sure.
whatever, crap I had to deal with earlier that day. It was like
disappear.
It's gone. Yeah, it puts you in the moment where you forget yourself.
Come on,
and
now.
that's where you're the happiest.
We call that flow state.
Yeah.
When they put you in the flow state, it's different things that can trigger flow state. And again, in coaching in Redline, not only do I get to coach basketball, I'm a man in many hats. So when I get to coach basketball, I also have to do the athletic stretch period. I love that because I do yoga, I coach yoga, I train. I don't coach yoga. You're a practicer of yoga, and then you teach people what you practice. But I get to practice with the children doing that type of stuff too. So it's all folding into each other and becoming a perfect little piece of poop for me,
Let's go back a little bit more to your playing experience. You said you played football growing up. How was that?
Oh, man.
Did you enjoy that? It's a totally different world than poetry.
Yo, shout out to the coaches. Shout out to the Coach Milk, Coach Tom, all of those guys, Coach Scott. I hated football growing up, man. Yo, to this day, I still reflect back and say, why did y'all make me do that? Because it made me such a tough guy. And I always wanted to be a nerd. But I became a tough guy, but now I know why they did that. And I know that this world isn't built to be nice to people. So I had to go through the turmoil. But when I played football, they called me too small. They said that I was uncertain and scared. They said that they used to call me chicken legs, right? They called me chicken legs, and they would look at my mom and be like, "You sure he in the right place?" She said, "I paid the registration fee." So she gave him the stale face, looking him up and down, and was like, "Just try. He just try him." So they was worried I was gonna get hurt.
Yeah, it's an aggressive game.
And I got hurt. I say they pushed me to my red line, right? They pushed me past my breaking point. And in that early stage, I'm talking about pee-wee football, when you're just the smallest, you learn. When I got beat up at practice, I mean, not physically beat up, but I mean, the guys that I came with, we used to run and they would hit me because I was a small guy, and I would fall into the water bottles. Everybody's laughing, ha, 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 ha. I'm like, I thought y'all was with me. So early, I learned about who you associate yourself with. I call it APA, your average person around. You're an average of the 5 people around you.
Yeah.
And at that early age, when I went home and I told my mom, I said, "Mom, like, I don't know what to do." She said, "Just watch who you're around." And I said, "But everybody's bigger, everybody's stronger, everybody's faster." She said, "Yeah, but you're smarter." And back then, we didn't have Obama's wife, Michelle Obama. We didn't have her. She said that, when they go low, you go high. My mom was from the hood. She said, when they go low, you go lower. yeah. So I took that concept and I said, they're bigger. She said, they're bigger, but what? The bigger they are, the harder they fall. So, I mean, just growing up and just changing, like you said, changing the mentality and the perspective that I looked at. I said, if they're already big, they can't get as low as me. So I changed my perception of the way that I view football. And instead of being the tough guy and just going up and hitting somebody, no, I'm going to still be my little scared self, and I'm going to hit you down low. And they went from calling me chicken legs to ankle biter. They used to go up to the coach, can you tell him to stop tackling us at practice because it hurt my ankles? So shout out to my running backs back then, but they were big guys, man. And I learned again in life, it's about the angles in which you look at something, because the answer, my homie 19 Keys, he say it's angel in the angles. Oh, there goes a poem for you. I won't do it because I'm going to run off the story, but I'm saying the angle in which I changed it. See, when we used to do up downs, I got up faster than everybody else. So when they would run towards me, even if they tried to jump, I was fast enough to get up and hit their ankle still. And I went from being invaluable on the team, is he going to be okay, to championship game, fourth quarter, 2 minutes on the clock. We just scored. We got 6. The other team got 7. We don't have a field goal kicker, so we have 6. Coach looks at me. He says, "I need something." I've been practicing with my sisters, right? Shaking them in the house and dodging them. So it's the kickoff, and we all hitting our pads. We yelling and we screaming. I go down, and the first guy's a big guy, go around him. right? He's just leaning left and go around him. The second guy, he's a linebacker. He reminds me of my middle sister. If you get away from him, he's just gonna chase you down. So I hit him and I spun away. And then when I get to my adversity, to these two guys with the ball, man, I didn't know what to do. So I went back to my ankle biter self, and I jumped down low, and I hit them both at the ankles. They tried to jump over me. The ball fell out, man. We jumped on the ball. We got the ball back.
Turnover.
Man, they hit my helmet so bad I thought I had a concussion. He turns around and looks at my mom. She looks at him back, up and down, like, I told you. Just trying. So that's my football experience, man. And I learned, again, through that, my family is the people that help me. My family is even with poetry. They're the ones who helped me with my editing process. That editing process was going home, asking mom, asking sisters, what should I do? And I guess I knew back then just to be a great listener, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a great turnaround from a negative experience to a positive.
I mean, early in the game, too, I was always a listener, man. I was always a listener to find out, like, well, what should I do next? How can I survive? Our brain focuses 20% more. I say Teflon versus Velcro, right? The Teflon, our brain is going to focus on that. How do I survive a bad situation? The good stuff, we don't really focus on that. That's the Velcro. It's easy to just go. And we have to train ourselves to say everything isn't all bad. Yeah. Train ourselves to see it at a different angle, have a different attitude and approach to it. So
yeah, I mean, you found your strength in that, you know, in that angle.
Yeah, stay little.
Yeah,
ain't nothing wrong with little. The big guys got a job, and when I'm coaching, the big guys that I coach, they go from being the big guy to, yo, that's the big guy. That's our big guy. They go from being, you know, oh, she's cute, to, oh, and she's cute. You know, it's just no, you're not going to look at me like the little guy no more. You're not going to look at me like the, oh, cute little girl or the big, slow guy. No, we going to change. I say I give the children etherical weapons. It's my favorite thing to do is because I give them something that they leave the gym with. And they say, Coach Jackson said, just breathe in and breathe out. You got 10 seconds before your amygdala and your brain is hijacked and you become unconscious of your decision that you made. So if I give them that 10 seconds back by telling them to breathe, it's a whole world of decision making. Now you can negotiate with yourself and say, I'm not going to do that. So that's, again, one of my biggest purposes, because when I was young, they used to just throw me in the fire and I used to figure it out. But having that, I call it processing information effectively, that time. I tell my bosses at work and my people, give me some pie time, give me thinking time. And I can tell even when I'm coaching, I might give them 5 instructions. Some people need to hear it twice.
Oh, yeah.
Some people need to hear it 3 or 4 times. I was that kid. So I don't mind it. I don't mind being repetitive. By the 4th or 5th week, they're leading the drills.
You know what I found out? It's like almost the slower you learn something, the deeper you learn something. You know?
That's so profound right there. Yeah.
It's like take time to make mistakes. Take time to not worry about the results.
Yeah. That's the ladder drill. Who you coach? Soccer?
Yeah.
The ladder drill. They all want to go and go real fast. I say, hey, go slow. Figure it out. And then the speed will come later.
Yeah.
So no, I'm 100% agreeing with that. Repetition.
Yeah, speed is like flexibility and looseness. It's not tight, you know.
No, for sure.
That's what I learned, like on guitar playing. You can't have a tight hand and play quickly. You have to have loose fingers to play quickly. Yeah.
Guitar was one of the hardest things for me to try and learn because I had to separate myself. Like left hand, right hand. What do you mean we're not doing the same thing anymore? So, like, yeah, no, you have to think with left and think. No, it was, I'm still, yeah. It's a tough, do you realize how you separate yourself?
No, I'm totally unconscious of it.
Flow state again.
I always wanted to learn to play, and then I got hurt in college playing soccer, and I had the time to learn.
Right.
And I always was able to do it. You know, my dad plays music, and I
just naturally.
Yeah, just naturally.
I'm jealous. You know, I think people that play music are gods. They just it's another level of who I am because you know how to go to flow state. Some people they need I call it soothing my own energy. Like I'm trying to soothe my own pain, and so we self-medicate. You have something that you can self-medicate that's not harmful to the body, and to
I definitely
go straight to flow state. Yeah. See,
Yeah.
you got hurt?
Yeah, I busted my leg in a tackle, and I was out the whole season. And
You was one of the aggressive players.
Yeah, I was pretty aggressive, but it worked out. I got to play the guitar.
Right, for sure.
I ended up not coming back for a 5th season because you know how you get hurt, you get an extra year in college.
Very sure.
But I was tired of it.
Yeah.
But I got into coaching soon after and fell in love with that. So
I got hurt in high school. I think it was my senior year. I was the man coming into senior year. I got hurt collarbone. They told me I was going to be done for the season. I wound up making it back for the last 5 games, but during that time is when Mr. Lavelle, rest his soul, man, he was my English teacher, and we had to memorize 150 quotes from 17th century poetry.
Wow.
William Blake, Alfred Lord Tennyson, people like that. I fell in love with poetry even more. If you read my first book, which I'm doing an audiobook to that now, it's filled with their poetry, quotes. And then I took it and made an entire poem of how I related to it. So I'm talking about a 17th century poet with a kid from the hood, and it's fused into one. My book still forever speaks to me because of that time that I got hurt, and I did well on that test because I had time. I stole my time back, so it's always God's plan. I was the man going into that season, and I thought I was getting.
Yeah.
You get hurt your senior year to college, just stop calling, man. But I was distracted. I found something. That was
you
good.
find something else.
Yeah.
You have to make room for something else.
You have to. Or it'll make it room. It'll make room for you.
Or it'll make room for you.
Yeah.
It'll pull you down and say, let's focus on this for a while.
For sure.
That's what I've discovered. Like, life doesn't tell you when it's going to change. It doesn't ask for permission. It just changes.
Yeah, change. But as life changes, we got to change our personality, change our process and the way that we do things, our habits. It's a forever changing game. I think that's one of the 7 laws of Tahuti. Like, it says, everything is in motion and vibrates. That means nothing is still. Everything is going to change, and we have to be malleable, immutable with that. I can do some poetry now.
Please.
Because I just said my favorite words. 19 Keys said it's angels and the angles. So when I have you looking at things from a different perspective, like how your brain is malleable and mutable, working with our process, I have you looking in the mirror at a different reflection. Because when you get out of your algorithm, even the way that you learn, gray and white matter begins to grow in your brain, so you inherently become smarter. I'm trying to tell you that your brain can bend without breaking. It change and adapt to go along with the flow. Bruce Lee said it best. He said, my mind is like water. So no, it is not pure randomness when we just going along with the flow. They say the key to success is organization. So we don't chase success. No, organization becomes our goal. Words of wisdom from Tiger. Step on my words and rise.
Amen.
That's my
good
piece.
stuff.
Appreciate it.
What do you, obviously you have a love for poetry. What speaks to you about it? Can you explain why it moves you so much?
Yeah, flow state. It flow states. Sometimes when I get into those poetic states where I'm repeating a poem or remembering a poem, it takes me back to why I wrote that poem. It's angels in the angle. And when I have you looking at things from a different perspective, that's when my mom said, no, you're small, but the lower man wins. Things like that. It was Dick Gregory that told me that, like, it say, row your boat gently down the stream. So I said, no, it's not pure randomness when we going along with the flow. That's the flow state. If you try to figure out why you were in flow state, it stops.
Yeah.
You be like,
it's tricky.
That's why cornhole's so great. Because cornhole, you have to call consciousness to your habits without like saying, okay, I'm going to do it like this. It's a great separation of self, like a guitar.
Talk to us about your cornhole experience. I watched one of your videos, I think.
Terrible, man. I'm terrible.
Well, it looked like you crushed some guy in a tournament or something.
The Grouch. Yo, shout out to the Grouch. The Grouch has all of this stuff too. He has he's doing what I want to do. I want to crack the cornhole scene so I can be an announcer in cornhole.
Okay.
I just want to be a voice. I want to talk about it. I like my personality. I think they may too.
Start a YouTube channel.
For sure. We are getting there. We are getting there. And I'm meeting the right people in order to engage in conversation and have that. But the grouch, man, I lost to him first. And then I wind up meeting him back in the championship game. And I was so laser focused that time. I switched my bags, which you don't do. I switched my bags to these bags my dad gave me. Guys in Virginia made it. And I wind up winning the tournament. But I didn't remember the start of it. I didn't remember anything in the middle. And the only time I realized that it was over, because she was like, stop throwing. I was like, well, what's the score? It's 21-2. I was like, oh, shoot. But
was that the video I saw?
Maybe. I don't know, because I didn't post a lot about cornhole. But yeah, okay. that was one of our videos.
You got like 7 in a row.
Oh, I don't know what video that is. I'm okay sometimes. Okay. I'm okay sometimes. Again, finding flow state, and I practice more than anybody knows. You know, when I'm not happy at home, I go out and play my cornhole, because then I can negotiate with myself. What are you doing right? What are you doing wrong? The people at the gym love my personality, because if they have their foot wrong, I'm like, Dorsey, flex your feet. Hey, make sure you got a 90-degree angle when you go down to do your lunge. It's those type of corrections that they love, their parents love. But when I'm at home, that's not fun. Wife don't want to hear, hey, do it like this or do it like that. So in order to, what you say, that energy is going to remain. We have to use it. So in order to use it, I use it on myself. Not only with cornhole, but cornhole turns into the poetry, because the same 90-degree angles we use there are the same. Our bodies are geometry. So it's the same angles that I use when I'm on a yoga mat. I'm doing my lunge, my forward lunge. I have to be in the same yoga position. Yoga.
Do you write when you do cornhole? Like mentally you think about ideas?
Nope, I can't separate it like that yet. I can do yoga, I can't write. Meaning I can, in yoga's, it's tough, but I can sing. I can hum. They say when you hum, you can't really think about anything else, because your mind's really one-dimensional. Jim Quick, I love him, by the way. I hum during cornhole. I can't write. I can't sing, and I wind up being in the song and not caring about cornhole, which isn't a bad thing, but not in competition.
Right.
But no, I'm terrible in competition. Though. I get beat a lot. Those guys really come to play. They let you know how much you haven't practiced. Yeah.
What is the cornhole scene like? You know, I go to soccer tournaments every weekend. I've gone to football games, but I've never seen a cornhole competition.
It's oxymoronic, like a civil war. Can't be civil and have
Fair point. Yeah. Can't have a civil war. Not very civilized.
So cornhole's like that. You go in and everybody is very civil, very nice. But when you step up next to me, I'm trying to take your head off. And whatever I need to do in order to do that, we do that. These guys are either on their phone, they're listening to music, or they're talking their trash.
Yeah? A lot of trash talking out there?
And when you can't do anything about it, you just like...
and you're right next to your opponent, right?
You're right next to him, yeah. And an individual, it's easier with a partner because then you don't have to take the embarrassing walk after you just lost, but you got to walk back and forth if you're by yourself. And again, I still feel like a civil war. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But again, for me, it's meditation. For me, it's a separation of self from reality. So I can't lose. It's impossible for me to lose. I can be emotional sometimes. I really don't allow it to get me angry anymore. I used to, but that's an emotion that I started identifying it when it came.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, it's not that serious. Calm down.
So what do you use for motivation now instead of anger for cornhole?
Repetition. Same. If I'm doing the hardest one that I'm having trouble with now is my sun salutation in yoga, where I have to memorize a certain series of poses and transition to them perfectly. I fell a lot. So I recognize that, I call it red feeling, that red feeling that you get in your belly. When I get that in cornhole, I stretch. The same thing I do on the mat. I know particular stretches that I can get into that immediately causes that. it causes that red pain or that red stretch. If you're stretching out your lunge and you're in a split position almost, you're going to feel that burn. That burn overtakes all of the anger that you thought that you had. Do some push-ups while you angry. You're gonna run out of steam, and anger don't last that long. He just don't. It is eventually subsides. So again, the things that I learn and that matter, the things that I learn, and I take it to cornhole, and those two things that I negotiate with myself with is what I then teach to the children, because they haven't had those experiences to their red line, to their breaking point. So I push them to that. And then when I see it in their face, because I'm very observant, and I see them giving up on themselves, like, I can't make the 20-inch box. Yes, you can. Mm-hmm. We're going to work on it, though. Look, we're going to do this exercise, and we're going to isolate the calf muscles. Why? Because that's what I remember from yoga. We're going to isolate the muscles that surround the knee instead of focusing on your knees, the calf muscles, the ligaments behind your knee, the hamstrings, the quad muscles. And you talk to them about those muscles, they go, oh, all right, okay. Give me a week or two with them. They're jumping on that 20-inch. They're believing in themselves more than they believed ever.
How much is your focus on that mental development over the physical development?
90.
Yeah?
90, because I didn't have the physical ability to become big. I was, man, these guys. So everybody knows Shady, right? Shady, the running back. Do you know Shady? The Eagles running back. He was a running back for the Eagles. Hall of Famer. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. The running back that came prior to him was Jesse Pitts. And this dude was just big, strong, and fast. I mean, he just ran. I forget even why I was going down that road. But I'm saying, I don't even know where I was going. Never mind. Take me off. Take me off of that one.
Well, you're obviously a Philly fan.
No, I hate Philly. I love Dallas.
Oh, really? A Cowboys?
I love Dallas, yeah. 90s kid.
Okay.
Dallas and Chicago, right?
Yeah.
Every 90s kid, I think, is that. Emmitt Smith, Deion, Michael Irvin, those guys.
Did you go to any of the... I mean, I guess you work. You probably don't go to the training sessions here.
Oh, I'll be riding past them. I've never been to one. I wanted to go. We'll go one day. I'm not into football too much. I stopped watching football 3 years ago. And I tried to figure out why I was watching it so much, or why it was taking up my time. Why am I not successful? Why am I not on TV? Why don't I have my podcast? And it was because I was watching other people's. So I began to develop my own program.
Yeah.
So it was 3 years ago that I studied Toastmasters. I don't know if you took Toastmasters. Toastmasters is a beautiful program.
It's a program?
That they teach people to speak eloquently.
I need that.
We should do it together. That'd be nice. But Toastmasters, I went and studied their website, and I took their blueprint, and I basically recreated my own program as far as communications. I went to school in college besides football. I did go for football when I was a child, but I graduated and got a communications degree. So I'm still using that communications degree to do exactly what you're doing now.
That's cool.
Yeah, I have goals.
Yeah, well, I don't think a lot of people sort of break out of that cycle of just consuming. So many people have dreams, but they get tied up in other people's stuff. And at some point, you got to say, I want to go try something for myself.
Who are you not to love LeBron and the Los Angeles Lakers? Who are you not to love the Dallas Cowboys with Michael Parsons? You're going to be indulged in that stuff. They have scientists creating storylines that get you to consume that. So again, the same thing we learn in yoga. We learn how to discriminate. We learn how to choose what we like and what we don't like. But just that, again, that conversation with self to say, I'll watch an hour, but I'm going to do something that's going to feed me, that's going to build me up, so that way I don't have to pay to go watch them play. A big thing I'm missing out of my community is finances. We never had a finance camp. We never had, something that inspired us to battle in the stock market and say, hey, my stock is making more money than yours. How much interest did you bring in this month? So when we begin to do things like that, I might start watching football again. I might start watching basketball again. For now, I love to coach it. I'll see the children play. I won't watch any of the NFL stuff, though. Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
That's interesting. I had the Oxnard football coaches on like last year. And they said the same thing. They're like, we don't watch NFL anymore. we're just focused on coaching, and
Yeah.
and the NFL is like such a different style than high school. High school is intense. They're trying to make it.
It's serious.
And when you get to when you get to the pros, it's a little bit different. Like they never took their kids to the training camp here in Oxnard for the Cowboys because it's like it's not really a good example of like what we
I gotta
want.
check it out still. I
Yeah.
want to check
I know
it
it's
out.
cool.
Yeah.
I'd love to go.
Yeah, I gotta check it out.
I need to get some shorts, some content for there.
Right.
Yeah.
You got any like what's your sorry to go off track, but what's your favorite thing to record with?
Like outside.
Yeah.
I mean, my phone works well enough.
Okay, I gotta stop being fancy. I gotta grow up, man. I got a DJI.
Oh yeah.
Is it DG or DJ?
DJI.
DJI, I think it's called. The product is nice. It's like a little.
They make drones, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So the cameras that they have on their drones, they also have little handheld cameras about the size here.
Oh no, iPhone will do it.
Yeah, I need to start using my iPhone. Maybe I'll upgrade my iPhone and use it.
Yeah, I mean, most of them shoot in 4K, and then because it's like vertical, that's how you post it on Instagram. That's how YouTube Shorts and TikTok is already formatted.
Right.
So you don't have to do anything extra.
Right.
So,
come on, teach.
Yeah, no, I'd love to do it.
Yeah.
I'd love to share what I've learned over the last 2.5 years because I knew how to do audio, but I didn't know how to do video. I remember like thinking, am I going to commit to this? Because I had to buy the software for the video. It was like $300. Like, am I going to do this?
Am I going to edit?
Yeah.
For hours.
Am I going to edit? And, it's me. I bought the lights. I bought the camera. I bought the equipment.
Yeah. I'm all in now.
I'm all in. So, but it's the most, it's fun to build. It's fun to build something for yourself.
To watch it from.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that about the children too. When we coach, and it's fun to build them.
Yeah.
Watch them grow. It's just like your baby, your studio.
Oh yeah.
I can't wait when we get our studio up. God's will, I'll have it something like yours, man. And cause I got all the equipment. It's just all like right there waiting to be undone. But one day.
Yeah.
One day.
No, it's been fun.
Yeah.
It's been a learning process.
How you stay creative with it? I mean, through the questions, right? But
yeah, I mean, it's really just like talking. It's asking questions and listening.
Yeah. I love listening. That's my favorite thing to do. I've learned to listen, become a great listener. Yeah.
One of the books I read about leadership is like, listening is a free education. Why not take it?
Perspective, dog. Yeah. Perspective. A free education. Yeah. Yeah, make sure you average 5 is good though, right? Because people pour poison and you believe it, and then you keep going down those paths. That's, again, I hung around all football heads, basketball heads. They want to argue about who's the greatest and not the greatest. And I've caught myself in that same circle, and it became repetitive. And I said, we're doing it again. At some point, you got to come out of that. But that's when you get in flow state. You're self-soothing. Medicating yourself. Whether it's drugs or alcohol, whatever it is, you become the people around you, but how do you pull out of that?
What do you see is like the bigger, more important impact of sports? It's obviously not comparing LeBron and Jordan. What's the bigger impact for you?
The ability to communicate. Everything for me was communication. So if I can communicate with you, I think that's a heck of a task. I can then take the skill sets I learned from our conversation and communicate with myself. Now, when I build on and I add another teammate, basketball, we got 5. We have to work in tandem together. So I think the C word that I'm looking for is like, I can't think of it right now.
Like collaborative?
Collaboration. Collaboration is what I think sports offers to these children. I mean, even if you're on a tennis team or you're by yourself playing tennis, individual sports, you're playing against someone. In track, you're going against a clock, but you're using other people to push you. And I just think using other people, you said it best, it's a free education. They've done things and gone through things in life that you may not have to experience because they did it and you learned from them. So collaboration, communication first, collaboration, and just those building blocks. From those 2 things, you can build anything, because then you can begin to communicate again. Like I said, I'm all about self-communication. as much as I am about teamwork, we use the word Ubuntu, which means I am as we are. If I'm eating, you're eating. It means we're caught up, bound. Our lives are caught up, bound inextricably. Like if we're a rope, and whether we choose to or not, if you untie that rope, it destroys the rope. If we try to untie us, it destroys the fabric of life. We are not separate from each other. We are one. So that's why I have to learn from you. That's why you must learn from me. But we both have to recognize, like, oh, he is something to learn from. Always back to coaching and communication, because most communication is nonverbal. When I walk into that gym, what do I look like? How am I walking? Am I walking over, hunched over, hurting? How do I look? Do I look happy? Because they may want to coach later in life, or a lot of these kids may not play sports later. The ones, you see the elites, but most of us, we're just trying to stay mentally healthy. So if I can, again, leave them with those etherical weapons like, hey, collaboration, communication, confidence, character, all of those things. I love saying characteristics, because I remember each child not by their name, but their biggest characteristic. What's the caricature, right? You draw a caricature of people and you overemphasize something about their personality. They always drew me with a big mouth on the football field, because when I get to talk, oh my goodness. So I'm a cornerback, and I had to go against the receivers, and most receivers are divas. I don't like divas because I want to beat you up. So I never stopped talking, and that's what they started to recognize, like pressure bust pipes. I used to yell it all the time. I want to leave and understand the caricature, not only that I see, but what do you want to emphasize and show me? Like
the athlete.
Yeah. I always ask them, what sport do you play? Okay, what's your biggest strength? I met 3 volleyball girls today, and without even asking them, I told them, I said, you're the setter. You always spike the ball. You're the smart one in the back telling everybody what to do. And I got it right, head on the nail, just by their personality. If I was to draw them, draw one with a big brain, draw one with the long arms, those type of things matter to people, because sometimes a picture's worth 1,000 words, and you can tell them something, but when you can do a caricature.
What would you say are some of your most effective teaching tools to get through to a student, or to read them and understand them? Is it the body language that you talked about when you first see them?
Yeah, but my most effective tool is, I believe, repetition. Repetition. Even the people that get it right the first time, I still repeat to them, we need a 90-degree angle there. We need you to fully put your weight on that leg and stretch out that leg. When you're sprinting and you're running, I need you to keep your arms in tight to the jawline. Don't let your elbows go out. Again, repetition is the greatest teacher of them all. I can learn a little bit of things and repeat it, and it's still going to help people when they meet me. So repetition, I think, is my biggest asset or my weapon.
And like that specificity of, like, you're putting your weight on this leg, and this leg is doing this.
For sure.
I bet the parents love that.
Yeah.
The more specific, the better.
Oh yeah.
That's what I've learned over the last couple of years with coaching.
I flood them with specifics. I flood them, because they're not gonna remember it all, but they're gonna remember something. Yeah, especially when we're stretching. And only way I got into specifics is because as an athlete, when you get out there, I didn't realize. I was injury prone a lot throughout my careers, but it was because I wasn't aware of my body. I wasn't aware that, okay, I pulled my left hamstring, so I'm overemphasizing. That's why my right knee hurts. Again, one of my favorite exercises is the hip thrusters when we go all the way up, because when we come down, I say, come down with your higher back, your middle back, your lower back, and your hips. And you go, I got all of that? Yeah. You got to recognize who you are. And in sports, we're going so hard. We competitive. Remember, here we go. I was trying not to go too far into it, but what I'm saying is we have sympathetic and parasympathetic, and on the basketball court, in the football field, in the soccer, we're activating our sympathetic nervous system. Those type of things, it releases chemicals into us as if we're in a fight. It releases blood clotting chemicals. It releases chemicals that stop digestion. It releases chemicals that tense up your muscles so you're ready for war. And I guess what I'm saying is the biggest thing that I can do in my journey, because coaches are going to teach that type of stuff, that fast twitch muscle action. I just tell you, slow down. I can tell you to breathe. Activate your sympathetic nervous system instead of your parasympathetic. I'm sorry, your parasympathetic instead of your sympathetic. Because when you learn things slowly in a parasympathetic state where you're open, when you go back to being really active, it becomes coaches on the football field say, stop thinking, react.
Yeah.
React. But how do I react? Repetition. Then repetition, my body knows before I even know.
Right.
Yeah. So repetition.
It's second nature.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like that sort of, again, learning as a coach myself. I when I did training sessions, I would always do a lot. I'd feel like the pressure of filling up a whole training session.
No, facts, yeah.
And then it's like, no, slow it down, do less, and do it right. And it's like, that's totally changed for me.
It changed for me at Redline.
Yeah.
Coach E had everything on the board, and he had the hour laid out. I said, oh, you got the laid out for me, so I just got to follow this? I'm off to the races now. I don't have to think about what my hour and a half is going to look like. It's already laid out. I can take my time. But when you out there coaching, that hour goes so fast, and you got so much to teach, it's just not enough time. Yeah.
Have you always felt an inclination to teach? I mean, you're obviously communication, but in a teaching kind of way?
No. I'm the youngest. First of all, I got 12 brothers and sisters.
Wow.
But in my household, where it's just my mom, I have 3. It's my oldest sister, and then next to her, and then it's me. So the ability to teach wasn't an option, especially in a house full of women. So I shut up and listened a lot. If I spoke, I got beat up. But it's those type of things that made me the man that I am. That's why I'm not an aggressive man. It don't matter what you say to me. You couldn't shake my spirit because I'm just calm, cool, and collective. Even if I could fight you, I don't want to fight you. My older sisters got enough of me. I'm good.
Yeah.
You know. So no. To teach, no. I guess I love teaching because I was the kid that helped out on the tests if you were struggling. Why I got in trouble in the first place, because I just want to help people. When I see people struggling, nonverbal communication, I want to help. That's why I tell my nieces, my daughters, when y'all listen to me, call me out if you hear something that's not true. I got 3 references for everything that I say because I'm not even giving you me yet. I'm giving you the books that I read, chose to memorize, and now I give it back to you in hopes that you eat it. And again, flood them. They get some. They leave some. But all of my stuff is from books.
Yeah, I just think like the opportunity to teach, it came as a surprise to me as well. And to coach. I mean, I'm not a teacher, but I coach, and I think of myself as a teacher in that way.
You love to learn?
Certain things. This,
For sure.
Learning about like YouTube and the stats and, optimization and all these kinds of different things.
Yeah.
But I always I did fine in school. I never really prioritized grades. I always just went, to have fun with my friends.
Yeah, I don't know. I never taught in school, I never wanted to teach in school. But teaching is learning to me. Like, I guess it's a repetition,
Yeah.
If I learn how to stretch my calf muscle out in a way that we don't have to strain, I'm definitely teaching somebody that, Yeah. Whether they want to learn or not, I did have to learn to shut up sometimes because not everybody's ready to learn. Not everybody wants to learn or ready to transition from where they're at, and you could rub them the wrong way trying to teach. So I've learned a smooth balance with that.
That's why I like working with kids, because they're receptive.
Facts.
Adults are a little more closed-minded.
Yeah.
And kids are just an open book.
Before high school. After high school, it gets a little like, okay, coach, what are you saying? Prior to, they're like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's almost scary. They're like, you're going to do everything you said.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, let me make sure. That's why I make sure I'm right. That's why I don't.
Yeah.
The stuff that I teach in stretching, me 3 years ago wouldn't have known that. I just wouldn't have, because I didn't care about that type of stuff. But now that I'm getting in tune and in touch with myself and I see how valuable it is, that's the stuff we want to teach so they can, again, take it home. It's a weapon.
Yeah. I call them like pro tips.
Yeah.
When I tell my players like a specific insight that I've learned recently.
Pro tips.
Pro
yeah,
tips.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
not
yeah.
just like the basic information, but like a pro tip.
Yeah, this is this
You
is
know,
a
this
little
is
bit
actually gonna
above.
work. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's next for you in coaching? What's the goal for you in coaching?
When I came to California, I wanted to perform. I've done that, and I told the people that I was performing with, they were like, "Oh, you got to come back out." And I was like, "Man, I got to go find the children." So next for me in coaching is to continue to find more and more children to be able to reach out to and check out their games. But I've locked in every last Sunday at Redline Athletics in Ventura. We will be having a yoga session from 8 to 10, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., and that's kind of my next journey that I'm going to be taking. And again, I don't teach yoga. I'm a practicer of yoga.
Mm-hmm.
And those that want to come and practice with me will be able to come and learn what I learn.
Is that new? That's a new program?
That's a new program. It's brand new. It's the first time we're talking about it. I discussed it, and we're going to lock it in every last Sunday. Super excited about it. So if people want to come find me, that's where I'll be for the children and adults.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'll be coaching in and out of Redline. It's not my professional career, so I'll go there as a part-time and really just to give my heart and also receive heart back. I'll be at Redline Athletics.
Have you started those yoga sessions yet? Or they're about to start?
They're about to start. The first one will be on the 24th. We're actually going to the beach for the first one. We'll be having a beach setting where Coach Ashley, she's going to work them out, do some workouts, and then we'll do a warm down 20, 30-minute stretch. I'll take that opportunity to be able to use my communication skills and do a guided meditation, where I get them to relax. I get them to activate that parasympathetic nervous system and get to try to get them in flow state. One of my things in life is getting people in the flow state. Sometimes when I'm out there doing poetry and I see people not moving and they're just glass-eyed and they're looking, that's one of my biggest compliments as a poet, as a coach, anything that I do. If I can catch you in flow state as a listener, then I've done my job. I've stopped time for you.
Yeah. That's why live events are so good.
Facts, yo. Live is nothing better than live music.
Yeah.
You get to disappear into it. Yeah. Next for my poetry career is doing a song with you.
Yeah.
That's it. That's next.
Yeah, you got to tell me where you perform.
She's already heard it, so she's going to let us know. I kind of perform when I want.
I have a feeling she hears it a lot.
Oh, my goodness. Yes. No, but I'll definitely get in touch with you for the next performance, and the next performance will be specifically for us. I don't I don't really reach out to perform as much anymore. Yeah, but I want to. What would we do? What poem would I do with you? Ooh, I am is one of the most.
What's your favorite poem right now? I know you have a lot. What's your favorite poem right now?
That's a cheat. Right now, stay focused, Jackson. Stay focused. Let's see if he can find it. Oh, okay. Oh, you are so bad right now. Instead of a poem, it's like a slow rap. Let me do that.
All right.
Started with my cousin. If I was going to shout out anybody in my family, it would be my grandma. My name's Johnny Mae Jackson. She was like the staple of our family. When she passed away, I don't think we all communicated as much anymore, but we all still represent her. And if we could all come back around that, we would do that. So I say, you can't see what? 20/20 vision, clairvoyance, intuition, third eye get my commission. I ain't messing with them cats. They be making bad decisions. Johnny May up in my blood. You couldn't play me if you killed me. I'm on the mission. You in my weight and you go missing. You see that green van in the hood? We ain't blood, we ain't crippin'. Metallic on that thing glistening. Oh, we was in the same class, but you weren't paying attention. Me, I was raised by the killers. It was Leonard, it was Winston. But they told me, young boy, come here. You should listen. Never had a brick, I had to flip it. Flip ain't hold his fin, so my tongue it be tripping like dog, they try and play you. Get you join your team so you become unstable. Like Cain did Abel. Like Seth did the sword. Yup, you want to know a little more? Go back to the start. I tell you where to start. Read that John G. Jackson and that John Henry Clark. Yeah. That was it. That was it.
That's great.
That was it. That was it. That's a shout out to my teachers. Thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, that's my poetry, my rap, my
Yeah, that's where you're in your flow.
I'm in my flow. I couldn't even. I just go in there, man. Yeah, yeah. I love poetry.
Well, I've been speaking with Coach Jackson,
a
a man on a mission.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is there anything else you want to leave us with? We talked a lot of different things.
Yes. I just first I want to thank everybody at the Redline staff for giving me this opportunity to meet you, and also opening up the doors to someone who basically a stranger to them, and allow me access to the children off of the knowledge of who I am in my heart. So what I'll leave you with is, again, I put my heart on the table for others to survive. So I'm going to leave you with one of my books that I wrote. It's a workbook. Hopefully you can find some information in it that's useful to you. And if you do, then you can teach someone else. And that's my duty. That's why I came here. That's why I'm on this earth, is to pass on little nuggets that other people can get. So can
I see it? Yeah, I'd love to see it.
Thank you so much.
This is your workbook.
This is my workbook. It was self-published. I do have a publishing company as well, where we've published probably over like 20 books, 3 of my own. But yeah, that's our publishing. My sister did the cover, Rochelle Jackson. She produced it with me.
Oh, I see you're on here, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of information in it. I'm low-key. I'm a historian as well, but all about learning about self. Yeah. Self-love. My 3 words are safety, stability, and sustainment. If I can help people feel safe, stable, and sustain that feeling. Yeah.
Well, it's very important.
Yes.
And I appreciate you coming on and
thank you for having me.
Sharing yourself with us.
Yeah, man. Have me back, man, so we can do some music.
We'll do music next time.
Appreciate you.
All right, I've been speaking with Coach Jackson of Redline Athletics and poet extraordinaire.
Something like that.
Something like that. What do they call a man who practices poetry?
I would call myself a sesh.
A sesh?
Mm-hmm. And that's what I teach the kids to sit in sesh pose, which is 2-3 different variations of the way that they wrote on the scribes, 3,000 years ago when they created the hieroglyphs. So I would consider myself a scribe, one who writes, not for myself, but for other people, These things will be left and found when I'm dead and gone. A sesh, so a scribe.
A book of poetry and lectures.
I will lecture you. I will. I get it from my mama. Yeah, I call them rants, reverse automatic negative thoughts. Yes, I'm an acronym guy.
Yeah, you've got like 3 or 4 already.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, I'll be on fire. Yes, that's it. I will keep talking.
All right. Well, thank you, Coach Jackson, and we'll look forward to having you again.
Yes, sir.
Sometime
yes, sir.
soon.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.